This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
How about listeners joining us now at WAAF Boston's rock station, also 98.5 KFOX of South Bay's classic rock in beautiful San Jose, California, and our friends at 103.3 The Fort Rocks in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Welcome to the show, guys. Big show for you. Ryan Castle, the Drunken Charge, coming to Sit and Spin. Today we'll get 10 huge songs.
Huge.
Very big hits, but you maybe didn't know that they were actually covers at one point in time. So we've got 10 huge songs you didn't know were covers coming up with Sit and Spin. What you don't need to know has more things that you don't need to know. And our question, what was it about you as a kid that made your parents worry? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Dick. Welcome to the men's room. Hello. Hola.
They were worried about your reaction time.
Yeah.
I was cleaning my marijuana piece.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry.
Sorry to interrupt, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
So what was it about you as a kid that made your parents worry? Was it your reaction time, do you think?
No, not the reaction time. I had a propensity for scary movies in my younger years, and about 6 or 7 years old, I started carrying a butcher knife around the house when I was left there alone, just because I was afraid of what might be lurking in the darkness.
So wait, you were watching horror movies. You're 6 or 7.
Yeah.
You watch horror movies, which is fine. I think I saw a lot, but I'd never carried around a butcher knife. But your parents would leave you home alone, and as self-defense, you grabbed a butcher knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd worry about, not because, just for the fact that, one, you're carrying around a butcher knife and kids are clumsy and are idiots, so I'd feel you'd hurt yourself, but I at least respect the fact that that is your choice of weapon if you feel threatened.
Now, all my cups are emotional.
Okay.
Did you carry it around in general or just when you were home alone?
Just when I was home alone. So, and I would sneak around because I didn't know who was there, and sometimes I'd catch them coming in the house here and just sneak up on them, not knowing who it was.
Wait. Your parents are now coming home, and you're sneaking up on them with a butcher knife?
Yeah.
And how old were you when you were doing this?
About 6 or 7.
You probably shouldn't have been home alone, or they should have taken the knives away, would be my guess. But
how long were they leaving you home alone at 6 or 7?
Just an hour or two.
All right. Okay. Well, see, now you get arrested for that if you're a parent. Like if you were to
absolutely.
having to wander out in the street, you know what I mean? Not a 6 or 7 year old isn't, like looking like a 3 or 4 year old, but at the same point in time,
It's not even if the cops went in your house and they're like, hey, man, he's got a butcher knife, and he tried to stab us because we opened the door.
I mean, that would just be frightening to come home and there's a child sitting there with a butcher knife.
Without question.
I mean, yeah, you definitely, I think when you might have a potential problem down the road.
Well, I would also think, okay, our kid says he's watching horror movies and he grabs a butcher knife when we leave. He's 6 or 7 years old. Maybe we shouldn't leave our 6 or 7 year old home alone.
What was it about you as a kid that made your parents worry? That would make me worry. 844-999-OLA.
But I like that they're worried about him. Like, you're the one leaving him home alone at 6 or 7. Come on, man. Hello, Sean. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Hey, guys.
How's it going?
So, it's going well. I'm done.
And he's gone.
And he's gone.
Oh, there we go. Okay, you're back.
I'm back.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I just pulled in getting home from work. So.
You know what? We actually expected you about 20 minutes ago, so no excuses.
Oh man.
Yeah, you probably should have taken a quicker route.
All right. So when I was a kid, I guess it was like in high school. By the time I hit high school, like all my friends that lived near me kind of moved away. We lived up in the foothills, and the nearest friend was like 8 miles away. So I was kind of a nerdy kid. I sat there and spent a lot of time just playing video games and stuff. And my parents, honestly, they were just absolutely worried that I was just constantly on drugs, which was a bit weird because I never did drugs. It wasn't my thing.
Why did they think you're on drugs?
I honestly don't know. I have no clue where it ever came from. I mean, I'm sure I probably acted weird as a kid. I was a weird kid.
But I mean, were you like slurring your speech? Were you weird in conversation?
Were your friends, did they have that appearance or whatever? Did you have that appearance? I don't know what that appearance would be.
No, like I never really had friends over at the house. We lived up in the foothills, like up in Stanwood, where farmlands and stuff. So again, we didn't have anybody nearby. I didn't really have friends over at the house, and I think that's why my parents thought it was so weird and just didn't know what to think about me, because I was this loner.
Well, you said your closest friend was 8 miles away, which as a kid is a lot more difficult than an adult, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to hop on your bike and ride over or just walk over there. So, I mean, what the hell did they expect?
No, I didn't hang out with friends outside of school. I mean, we had a couple neighbors when I was, a little kid, but by like middle school, they moved away.
All right, so you start playing video games. I mean, look, most teen boys that I know, if they're not with friends, they're probably playing video games by themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing was, we didn't have internet. That was something I didn't get internet till I was 18 when I moved out.
All right.
So this was very much just by myself. I spent a lot of time by myself.
So
and again, I don't know where this whole thing with the drugs came from.
Okay, but let me ask you this, all right? So if your parents put you don't have internet until you're 18, which is, I don't personally care, but I'm saying on some level then, your parents obviously are sheltering you, whether they meant to or not. So did they ever think maybe some of this is on them? It's like, look, people that homeschool their kids, nothing wrong with that. A lot of times those kids seem a little awkward, but it's like you understand why, right?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I just turned 28 last week.
Okay.
All right, you're right. That is kind of
so you'd have internet,
Did that make you want to do drugs when you had the opportunity? In other words, if you're constantly being accused of something, hey, if you were to tell me, if I was Mormon and my parents were beating down have you ever had a Coke before, Coca-Cola, or
we think you have,
or whatever? And I'd be like, no. I mean, where do I got to go to get that? You know what I mean? I never have. But as soon as I'd have the opportunity to, I'd be like, you know what? You've been asking me about this all my life. I'm going to drink a goddamn case of Coke or coffee or whatever. Just because you put me through so much crap growing up that I didn't deserve. If I have the chance,
what do you say about Catholic schoolgirls?
Now I'm going to be a little bit more rebellious.
Right.
No, I mean, I guess a little bit. I mean, I did try it in high school, but I just didn't enjoy it. I don't even drink much. I don't like things that really, I guess, make me feel like I'm not in control of myself. So
yeah, sure, there's a lot of people like that.
Just wasn't my thing, but I did try it, and part of it was because of that. But in fact, I'm pretty sure I told my parents that I even tried it. Like, I didn't even care. But again, I don't know. This was much that by the time I told them, it was after this. This whole thing, like, I remember there was this one really bad time, and at this point I could drive. I went to the store, like I picked up a bag of M&Ms or something on the way home, and my parents had gone to sleep. I'm up, I'm playing some games. I have like my school bag next to me with the M&Ms in it. I'm just eating them out of the bag, and out of nowhere, my dad just kicks these double doors open. Just the whole house like shakes from him kicking these doors open. He's yelling, he's like, "What's in the bag?" I'm like, "Well, nothing's in there." And he grabs the bag, off the couch. He flings it, just M&Ms fly everywhere, and he's like, what is that? Like, they're M&Ms. And he like rips through my bag, and he just throws it on the ground. He's like, "You better not be doing drugs." And then he goes back to bed.
Were your parents really religious or something?
I would say, or did they have an issue with drugs? Did they have an issue with drugs or alcohol back in the day? Like, why were they so paranoid about it?
I have no idea. And, the only thing that I can think of at this point is that, just because of where, my dad had a lot of friends that had some kids that definitely had some issues, and maybe it was something where he heard all these stories from his friends of their kids, and my dad never really had huge problems with me, short of, like not doing my homework, and occasionally, like, I taken money from my parents, but.
Okay.
No offense, man. Your parents sound nuts.
They do. Are they still crazy?
No, I mean, not at all, honestly. Like, my parents are great people now. Like, as a kid, I didn't think anything was weird because I didn't have enough friends to tell me that was a weird thing. But
friends tell friends when things are weird.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was definitely a weird experience growing up. It definitely had a strange childhood. But honestly, I grew up and.
What about now?
I don't know.
What kind of dude are you now? I mean, you said, look, you don't do a whole lot of, like, mind-altering or physically altering stuff, right?
No, I mean, honestly, like, I have a decent job, make decent money. I have a good house. I'm married. I work on cars. That is my thing. That's,
okay.
When I need to get away,
And you have children of your own?
No kids.
Okay. Would you use the same kind of scare tactics with them or anything like that, or you think that's probably not going to be you?
No, like that's the thing. And my wife is the exact opposite. Her mom basically just never really did anything. Never didn't really punish them, and my wife turned out well enough, but definitely
well enough. I like that. Don't say it that way when she's sitting next to you.
I think there's two things. I think when you become a parent, you realize some of the things that your parents did that were actually effective,
absolutely,
and that worked, and that were good teaching mechanisms. And then you also realize the things that they did that had absolutely zero purpose. And at least with myself, I promised myself that I would never ever do those things to my children because I would not want the frustration level that I dealt dealing with people who weren't logical. So for me, because I said so was not a logical answer. There needs to be a reason why this isn't going down because I'm doing everything else you ask me. So if I'm asking something, you go, because I said so, not good enough. So I never.
It's never good enough. That doesn't mean anything.
Right, exactly. I never would do that with my kids. I never have said that. I never would do
some of the stuff just no, you're a teenager, you don't get to go out.
I would explain to them why.
Yeah, I would say, here's the thing with your kid. I don't know you a goddamn thing, right? Period. Understand that. That's the general rule. So when I say something, that's the rule. But if you ask why, I will give you an honest answer. But it's up to you. But look, I'm not going to lie to you. I will tell you why. And you don't have to like the answer. I don't care. I'm your parent.
But I will give you an acceptable reason.
But I'll give you a freaking answer, exactly. Right? And the reason is I owe that much to you because when I ask you something like, what happened in school when the teacher sends home, and teachers are never real specific. Well, there's a bit of an incident. Well, here's the problem. You need to tell me because guess what? Kids, much like when the cop says, do you know why I pulled you over? There's a lot of hemming and hawing, man. They're not trying to let you know what it was because they know you don't know. But it's look, I expect an answer out of you, and I will return that by giving you an answer.
What was it about you as a kid that made your parents worry? 844-999-OLA. Hold the line. More of your calls coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Hola, bichola. You have entered the men's room.
Taylor McCallum, 17 months old. He is just one of a handful of kids around the world with a known case of uncombable hair syndrome, or UHS. It causes her bright white hair to stand on end despite efforts by her parents, Kara and Tom, who have both straight brown hair, which is the ideal hair, to brush in style. The adorable tot attracts crowds wherever she goes, and former mental health worker Kara says she has stopped 9 or 10 times on trips to shops. We are really not able to go anywhere without comments or questions from strangers, some of which are not always so kind. While most people are friendly, Kara says she has been accused of bleaching Taylor's messy mane and asked whether she stuck her fingers in a light socket.
Oh, that's rich.
Most people compliment her, but others wonder if it is bleached, damaged, or some people online have asked if she is mixed race or has African-American genetics.
Because she's blonde?
Who knows?
Come on, man.
The mom tried at first to tame her daughter's wild mane. At first we thought we would just put a bit of water and comb it down, but it pops back up. I didn't want to put a bunch of chemicals on her hair, and I had read that aloe vera would act like hair gel. We tried that several times. How about a leave-in conditioner? We often thought at one point in time that maybe a leave-in conditioner could work for a woman that we used to, yeah.
Oh, there's nothing for that?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But
do you think maybe she had that?
Maybe.
There was this, and it sounds really horrible. We made fun of her all the time. But look, not to her face, but there was...
Yeah.
We would just see
the same
her
thing,
hair,
right?
And it did not matter.
Was it blonde?
It wasn't blonde. I can't, a little bit. But listen, it just...
Her family has nicknamed this youngster Einstein 2.0 after the scientist whose shock of static white hair is also rumored to have been caused by UHS.
Really?
Yes.
But he had black hair when he was young.
In the end, yeah, but the idea being that it is so wild and uncontrollable that I guess you can't comb it or tame it. So it doesn't really matter the color, I guess, as much as the texture of it.
He had the luxury of being a genius. He goes down in history. So it's kind of like a celebrity.
Child. We don't know. Maybe.
It doesn't matter what you look like if you do something. Look at Bill Gates, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, come on, man. Nobody wants to look like that, but we forgive him. But if this kid does not do something significant,
this kid could be a punk rocker right now. Says, I absolutely love Taylor's hair. Personally, I think it's gorgeous and it matches her personality. She's outgoing outgoing and free.
Crazy.
Though Kara admits that the attention can be a bit frustrating, sometimes it's difficult. We want to engage with the public, but we also want to live a normal life and be able to shop without being stopped 9 or 10 times. One day we were at our local doctor's office, and a woman's there with her daughter and started pointing and laughing and says, "Look how funny her hair is."
Damn.
It was upsetting, kind of form of bullying. We do hope we can spread a message of awareness for people who are a little bit different, especially as far as the hair goes. Taylor was born with no hair, but began sprouting off tufts of soft baby fuzz when she was around 5 months old. And rather than that falling out and growing back straight and brown like her parents' hair, Taylor's bright blonde locks grew and grew. At one point, we had a chat with my mother-in-law who said, "There's a photo on the internet that looks like Taylor." We laughed and brushed it off and thought, there's no way a child would, but then we waited for her hair to lay flat, and it never did, and we realized that, yeah, this is probably the case. Eventually, Karen Tom contacted a professor at the University of Bonn in Germany who leads research into UHS. According to the team at the institute, the syndrome is caused by a mutation to one of 3 genes. The defect impairs the interaction of the structural protein that gives hair its shape and strength. So these hair follicles are not even close to regular hair follicles. So they're completely different than regular people, or normal hair.
Oh, look what you did, bully.
Right. Exactly.
Regular people.
Yeah, not like that's crazy.
She's just a completely normal troll.
But now they're actually doing studies to see if maybe there's a genius gene. What was it about you as a kid that made your parents worry? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Anna. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So I was a very, very extroverted, outgoing child. So my grandparents were always worried that I was going to be kidnapped and molested.
Jesus Christ. Because you're outgoing?
Yeah.
Because you would talk to anybody?
Yeah. Pretty much. My grandpa used to say we couldn't go anywhere without finding at least one person that I knew.
And how old were you when you started to, or that maybe you just would introduce yourself to, and then by the time it's all over with, you know 4 or 5 people?
Pretty much.
I would get bored, and I would talk to anybody as a kid. I don't think that my parents were concerned.
Well, I mean, did you exercise? I mean, look, if you have a kid, the one thing you tell your kids, don't talk to strangers, don't climb in their car, all the regular stuff we passed down. Now, were you one of these kids who ignored that and would just roll up to a car window and chat, or did you still have your wits about you and wouldn't put yourself in danger?
I wouldn't go up to a stranger's car and start chatting, but like if we were at the park or if I was, if we were out grocery shopping, I would be saying hello to everybody. I would be striking up conversations with random people.
You do that now?
Not so much. I mean, not anything out of friendly formalities, which is required by my job.
So wait a minute, hold on. Your job requires you to be decent to people. You're
Imagine that.
No way. You got to be friendly and nice at your job.
Yeah, I like those jobs that treat your coworkers like crap.
Right. You must work at a
in the end, it sounds like your parents worry because they had a nice kid. And I know we live in different times and people are worried about everything, but I mean, I can take my kids to school and there are 2 or 3 kids there that, like you're saying, are extremely gregarious and this. And look, here's the difference. I don't feel like talking to their asses, but they're just nice kids. They're not stupid. They're just very, very, very nice and long-winded.
Well, my grandparents' base for their concern was the fact that my sperm donor was a pedophile.
Oh, well, all right. They go into a paranoid.
Yeah, all right.
Good God,
okay,
man.
Well, that's heavy duty. What? Let me ask you, what do you do? Now, do you use your social ability, and I don't know how the hell they found that out. Do you use your social ability for your job? Does it help you?
It does, especially when I'm dealing with customers that are just very, very difficult to deal with.
But see, here's what I hear the difference. When you were a kid, you talked to people because you wanted to, and you're being friendly. Now, you're just putting on airs to be nice because it is a job requirement.
No. Yeah, and I'm asking, and the reason I'm asking you is because typically we always say the person that you are as a kid is pretty well a rough reflection of the person you're going to be as an adult. Now, do you believe when you're dealing with these pain-in-the-ass adults, that when they were children, that they were also pain in the asses? Because I'm telling you, I believe they are. So
I think their parents probably were.
Yeah, well,
as far as how you choose to interact, right? As far as being a customer, right? There are people that are just genuinely jackasses, and you can think of them. But overall, how you see your parents treat people in those kinds of situations goes a long way because all you know how to treat people is what your parents do. Mm-hmm. They're the ones teaching you, and then they're the ones that you watch actually interacting.
And customers generally
suck.
Yeah, they're only going to talk to people in the service industry that way. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Like, overall, they might not be bad people, but when it comes down to it, like, service industry people catch a lot of heat just for simple things.
Yeah, people just don't know.
I mean, it might just be you and your wife are just in one of those arguments. It's Sunday morning. You're just at the coffee shop now. They don't have.
Yes, I'll have another coffee.
Right? Like, so sometimes
you know me, I get the same freaking thing every day.
And I'm yelling at you because I can't yell at her.
Yeah.
What was it about you as a kid that made your parents worry? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Craig. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
How you doing, boys?
Doing good, man. How are you?
So, when I was young, I would drive my parents crazy because I would like to climb anything in sight, and they had a tendency to find me up in like a 40-foot tree at the top of the tree, just overlooking the neighborhood. And then when I got down, and mind you, I'm only like 3 or 4 years old.
That is terrifying.
Then I would start reaching for the power lines that they were in reach.
Right. That's why you don't want your kids to. And you know, the difference between you and a lot of, like, every kid likes to climb, but most kids stop. I mean, they'll look down and determine I'm way too high. The fact that you still climbed up 30 or 40 feet kind of blows my mind.
Well, I thought it was a nice view, and I was like, well, I got a lot of branches below me. These weren't like really sparse trees. They were getting really thick towards the top. But, I mean, to me,
yeah.
I didn't have that straight down look. I just had the overlooking the neighborhood about 15 feet away that I could see. So it wasn't quite as terrifying.
What other questionable decisions have you made, like, in your adult life? Like, what other risks
You're
taking?
climbing telephone poles now?
I hear what you did when you were younger, but what dumb things have you done, like, as an adult?
I would like to think that I have sort of wised up as an adult, but I do moonlight as a professional wrestler.
All right.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so you still need that kind of thing to get your adrenaline going.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I have up on my Facebook page. I was one of the wrestlers at 3-2-1 Battle at the Showbox. There's a picture of me climbing up to the top rope, a 200 and almost 60-pound guy doing a backflip off the top rope onto about 6 guys.
See, this is what I'm trying to say.
This is
exactly what I'm trying to tell you. If I'm your parent, all right, if I'm your dad and I'm in the audience, I know what you're doing. I'm like, this is the same jackass at 3 years old who I had, like, him and his brother hold a blanket in case he fell out of this tree so we could catch him.
And listen, the truth seems to be at some point you just have to accept how you're getting. Maybe they're stupid, maybe they're smart, maybe they're whatever. They are what they are, and all you can do is, all right, what do we do to channel this particular form of crazy into something that maybe can pay the rent down the line,
That'll be
right?
useful in society.
That's all it. Like, look, your kid is going to be this way. Is there some kind of profession?
Well, what could they possibly do?
So we can try to steer them toward,
exactly.
man.
Like, maybe soccer isn't the right way to spend Saturdays. You know what I'm saying?
I will say with one of my children, in fact, they brought
Maybe
it up,
it is.
and they said, you know, I would like to play soccer too. And again, I told them no. And they said, why? I said, because when I take you to play soccer, you sit down and pull crabgrass, and all I can think is, I want to be home watching football. And if that's the best you do, it's not happening. Mm-hmm. There's 0% chance. So get it out of your head and come up with something else. Like, sorry, man.
Yeah, if you like doing it, I don't mind spending time. But if you're going to waste my time, then and then I had to pull my
every week. You sit down, and you don't want to play. And you said you want to play, and I'm missing football, man. Like, it's not okay.
What was it about you as a kid that made your parents worry? 844-999-OLA.
Sounds like you got a little gardener.
More of a gardener than put it this way. So as you look ahead, hey, what jobs could you get your kids? One of them, soccer player. The other one, field maintenance. Yeah. Right? You just piece it together right there. Hello, Robert. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
All righty, guys. So mine's a little bit crazy. It was me and my buddies. We were probably 13, 14 years old. And we would purposely take our bikes down the train tracks and halfway across this train bridge that was at least a half mile long. And we would wait for a train to come and try and play chicken and beat it off the bridge.
Did your parents know this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
my brother and sister did it with. Yeah, my brother and sister did it with us.
Okay, well, I'd be getting a life insurance policy about with each and every one of you. Like, all right, kids, if you're going to roll the dice, so's Dad.
How often did you do this? Was this like all summer long because there's no school, something like that?
Pretty much. Every time we got, a chance to go ride our bikes, we'd go out there and, play chicken with a train or...
Did you ever have a OS moment? Did you ever get real close?
Inches away from this train doing 70 miles an hour past our faces.
Was there anywhere on the side of the track over that trestle bridge that you could jump off, or was it just basically just straight down?
No, it was probably 50 feet to the dry dirt below.
All right. Yeah, that wouldn't have hurt.
That is true chicken. Mm-hmm. That is true chicken. Like, I'm down with doing a lot of things, but trains, man, that's just, nothing seems to beat them. If they don't just derail on their own, like if they hit a semi-truck, semi, it's king of the road. Well, no, not if a train hits it.
Yeah. And isn't the always thing with the trains, they're going a lot faster than you think they are?
They are. A buddy and I, and we were in our 20s at this point, but there was a train that used to run from downtown Baltimore, and it would take us back to close to where we lived. Late at night, we'd been out drinking, and we just didn't feel like walking back, right? So the train's coming. My buddy Leon's like, hey, man, let's just grab onto the side of the train. Fine. And you run up beside him, and you do have to put some effort in on the run. So it's going a little faster than you think. What I didn't think about, though, is when you grab the ladder, my natural reaction was to kind of relax a little bit, but you realize this train is still going forward. I thought my arm was going to get yanked out of my side. That's the first thing, right? And, I mean, it was a lot of pain, but I swung up, I grabbed the ladder. My buddy is on another ladder at the front of the same car. We're separated by like maybe 15 feet. We knew this to be true, but we weren't thinking about this at the time. Basically, from the point that we jumped on this train until it got to its final stop, it's all a tunnel. It's called the Howard Street Tunnel, where there have been fires and all kinds of horrible things. Well, we're on the train. This thing goes into the tunnel, and it is now pitch black. And the sound of a train in a tunnel, man, is a lot different. And now I realize, so I'm holding this ladder, because now in my mind, even though I know this tunnel is plenty wide,
see anything.
In my mind, this is the most narrow Indiana Jones tunnel there is, and I'm going to get ripped off the side of this thing at any moment. But so I'm clinging to the ladder, realizing what a bad idea it is, and exactly how scared I am, because it is But I cannot see and I cannot hear Leon. Okay, so I don't know, and you start thinking the worst thing. He's fallen off the side of this train. He's gotten ground up, under the wheels. So we finally get to the final death. And it's only like a 5-minute thing, all right? So you're not there forever. It's literally about 5 minutes. This train pulls out of the tunnel at the station. I see him. He sees me. I mean, we almost broke into tears.
Thank God!
I thought you were dead. I was like, me too, dude. Yeah. I think we had the exact same. I just figured you fell off. I'm like, I know, man. Let's never do that.
We jumped on a train one night and took it for a little bit of a ride. We thought we were going to go farther, but we ended up jumping off at a town in Pennsylvania. But it was just a slow rolling train.
How far did you get, though?
We probably ended up going 15 miles.
Damn, man.
Yeah, 20 miles probably. But time, we just didn't have any concept of time, so it's kind of hard to tell. But with the guys that I was with that night, the one thing that I remember...
man, we had no concept of time.
Well, we were on acid. The one thing that I remember more so than anything was that I had one friend, and his parents they were pretty well-to-do, and there was one neighborhood when I grew up where the rich kids were. Right. And they were on a lake, and they were across the lake from us, but they were rich. I mean, these kids had lots of money, and they went to send their kids to private school. My buddy went to private school for a while because of the influence of us. So the way this would go down is that it wasn't really necessary. My parents would worry about what friends that I was with, and it was the same group of friends all the time. And all parents thought this. Who are you hanging out with? What is going to be?
It's never my kid.
It's never my kid.
It must be.
And the one kid that was the worst was my buddy Joel. And he was the one that would break into cars and steal stereo systems. And, I mean, you name it. I mean, he was just an absolute, he was a derelict. But his parents thought that any time that he hung out with us, that we were getting into so much trouble, and it was our fault.
Of course.
So anytime he got busted with anything, they would call up and go like, well, Joel got busted with all these car stereos. We're just, letting you guys know, your parents know that, your ringleader kids are part of this group. And our parents,
who's got the stereos, brother?
Right. And we were like, I don't even have a car. Right. You has a car because you're rich. You're like, I don't even have a car.
Right. He has a car and car stereos.
I'll tell you what. If I had a car, I might think about stealing a car stereo to put in. All right. I give.
You should tell him. I have to steal the car.
Exactly. Dude, I have a buddy that my mom blamed for years, but he's fine. We all did stuff together, but for whatever reason, she would always just pick the one guy and be like, well, it only happens when you're with him. And I'm like,
he has nothing to do with
I mean, technically you're right, but like all four of us made that choice, like together.
Yeah,
my
it's
mother,
also so hard to sell your parents on the fact that you are not a derelict.
My parents believe, my mother did. My six-fingered buddy, if I were, and he and I got into a lot of trouble together, and to be fair, equal. I mean, we were going this equal, but my mother loved him because he's one of those guys where he could be screaming and cursing in the car, and as soon as we walked into my house, hi, Mrs. Hill. You know what I mean? Oh, look at Tony. Seriously, right? So it didn't matter what went down, man. And I'm telling you, it was split about 50-50 who was the root cause, but it didn't matter. God. If she knew I was with Tony, then inevitably it was my fault, and I took the heat for everything.
What was it about you as a kid that made your parents worry? 844-999-OLA. More of your calls coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Still to come, Drug and Charge in the house. Ryan Castle will be in to Sit and Spin. Today we get 10 huge songs that you probably did not know were covered. Sit and Spin is coming up. Our question, what was it about you as a kid that made your parents worry? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Aaron. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hey, what's going on?
Hola.
How are you guys doing?
Doing good, Aaron. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Okay.
So, well, my parents were worried about, I actually called you guys the other day about the shotgun incendiary launcher, so this is very much related. I was a total pyro as a kid. And Thrill, you asked why my mom was afraid that I was going to burn her alive. This is one of the reasons.
I feel like that's a reasonable question when you say, hey, my mom was worried I was going to burn her alive. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I must have been like 6 or 7 at the time, right? And I remember I was watching Bill Nye the Science Guy, and they were talking about how wind affects the weather and all that stuff, blah, 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 and explain how hot air balloon works. You know, those are the hot air floats, right? Me, in my genius 6-year-old mind, decided I was going to make my own, right? And I made it out of a plastic bag, some string, and one of like those plastic baskets you get like strawberries and stuff in, and I put a candle in it, right? And so I'm holding it thinking, okay, this is filled with hot air. Now it'll float. And I throw it, and of course it doesn't float. It just goes to the ground. But the candle lights the plastic bag on fire, which then lights the carpet on fire. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, no, this is horrible. My mom's going to wake up and whip my ass, right? So I run into the kitchen, and I grab some towels, right? Because I'm thinking, you know, I'm going to beat the fire out. And I try doing that. But the towels catch on fire. Yeah. So then I have to run back into the kitchen, and I grab, like, the hose little sprayer thing.
Yeah.
I turn that on blast, and I run out as far into the living room as I can, and I run out of, like, slacking or whatever you want to call it, and I'm trying to spray it, but the water won't reach. So then I have to run to the kitchen again. I grab more towels, I throw them in the sink, get them wet, and then I finally put the fire out with them.
No, wait, how big has the fire gotten at this point?
It burned a hole in the carpet that was probably about like 5 feet long and like 3 feet wide.
Oh my God!
So like it was bad. I'm surprised the fire alarm didn't go off.
Were you diagnosed with anything? Like, did they take you in to see someone to make sure that everything was connecting, or you know what I mean? Like, did they just assume that this was normal behavior because it's not?
Well, I had to go to counseling since I was 3 years old. I was like 17.
Oh, based on the fact that you love fire so much.
No, I had absolutely nothing to do with fire. Apparently I have anger issues and I'm depressed. I don't know. I feel like I'm a pretty happy person.
You sound very happy.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, honest to God, you sound like a very happy,
you like to burn stuff.
Exactly. I mean, my thing is just...
Oh, yeah, I still do. I love it, right?
What would you...
The story started getting funny, right? So I got this huge burn hole in the rug, and I'm like, oh, my God, my mom is going to wake up, and she's just going to beat me to death, right? And she finally wakes up, she comes out, and she's like, why is the couch in the middle of the living room? I'm like, I don't know.
That was the move.
She found the burn hole, and yeah.
You rearrange the furniture.
I like your thinking, man.
Oh, man, that's good. That's good stuff.
What was your mom's response? Did she whip that ass?
Oh, yeah, man. Like, she whipped me with an extension cord to the point that I couldn't even sit for like a week.
All right. Okay. Now, did they prescribe drugs to you when you were that young?
Oh, all kinds of stuff.
Like, what did they give you?
I remember Ritalin and Wellbutrin, but, like, man, there was, like, so many different ones that they made me take as I was growing up.
And are you off all that stuff now?
Yeah, I stopped taking that when I was, like, 16.
It's amazing to me that they put they had no problem when you're a 3-year-old kid putting you on that powerful of a drug on a daily basis.
Think about it,
Think about that, man. Isn't that amazing?
And you're a drug dealer. I mean, no fair. If I'm dealing drugs, I want to get you hooked, man.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie to you. I would do the same goddamn. I'm going to poison your kid. I want them to buy my crap.
Mm-hmm. What was it about you as a kid that made your parents worry? 844-999-OLA.
I'm not a drug dealer. That's the good news. But I'm not above it if I were. That's all I'm saying. Hello, Brian. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, fellas.
Hola.
Well, I'm an old guy. I'm 60 years old, so I was born in 58. And when I was 9 months old, my mom had a friend over, and she had some coffee on the table, well, the whole pot. And back then, the coffee pots had cords on them that were about 10 feet long.
Yeah, it was a percolator.
Yeah, you could plug it into the wall from the table. I was 9 months old, so I'm learning how to walk, and I had to grab onto a chair or something to stand up. So at that time, I grabbed onto the coffee cord.
Uh-oh.
And it came down on top of me. Boiling hot coffee. You know.
Oh, man.
It landed on my chest. And when you're 9 months old, your skin is really soft, so it just melted my skin. You know?
Oh, no.
Well, I mean, even now, that would be problematic as an adult, I think. But how do you, I'm guessing you still have scarring from that?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So what?
Most of it landed on my chest. I have a little scarring on my arms. Not bad, just a little tiny bit. A little one scar on my neck, and luckily I had plastic pants on to cover the diaper.
Okay, yeah, and did you? Oh, all right, well, that's so downstairs was okay. Did you have to get any grafting done?
Yeah, I had to have skin grafts that took skin off my thighs.
I was going to say, do you have weird patchy places on your chest, some where some have follicles still and others do not?
Well, sure, yeah, I'm missing a lot of hair, and some of there's spots that are white because of it just didn't get the pigment, you know.
Right.
But I don't know. It turned out okay.
Do you drink coffee as an adult?
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right. Sometimes like something like that, I think like I'll never drink a coffee. All the hell I got put through, you know.
Damn.
You know it's tasty and delicious. What was it about you as a kid that made your parents worry? 844-999-OLA. More of your calls coming up in seconds.
Hola! The shenanigans continue on the Men's Room Radio Network.